as you see, we have the login activity, which I just created, and the main activity, which was created by default. In the login activity, what design we need? We need to ask the person to enter the username and password. The username is a plain text. For the password, we have special text view, edit text, which is passwords. It will come hidden. The user can't see the password. And I need a button. Here is the username. And here is the password. Log in. Now the edit text, user name, and what? It has to be empty. We have hint. We can write a hint. The hint is just kind of guiding the user. Maybe we don't need it here because nobody needs guiding to enter the username and password. It's obvious. But in some cases, you need to guide the user. What exactly the user has to enter here in the text field. So that will be useful. It's here, the hint. Like, enter your username. Of course, we will not have a hint for the password because it's hidden. Nobody can see anything. For the password, what I need just to change the ID to password. The login button, I can change the ID, log in button. Now what? Let's do the constraints for all of them. I like to keep the constraint to the last. Okay. Now, let me create a normal Java class. Right click here, new Java class. Who is logging to the system? Suppose We are doing a simulation of library. Uh, library, library. Okay, library. So who is logging to the system? Logging to the system, members of the library who are eligible to borrow books. So member is the name, member is the name of the class. What does the member has? The member has private integer ID, private string name, and the important for us now is private string username and private string ايش؟ والله private string what? Passwords. Member, it needs R. What's the problem? Oh, the file name. Did I make it without R? Yeah. No problem. Let's now generate everything. Right click and generate constructor of all of them. Generate. Generate getter, all of them, and generate setter, all of them. I don't know what I'll need, so let me generate everything. Now in the login activity, in the login activity, I need to create variables for the text, the edit text. I have two edit texts, user, pass, and I have one button, log. When you have something like this, it means you need to make your phone silent. Then you need to press Alt with enter. Now, we will, guys, try to make a simulation of the database. So we assume the system is retrieving the information, the details from the database, but we are not using real database. We are using array lists of member list equals new array list of member. We need to import the array list. Okay, Alt enter. Filling the data, public void fill data. We will fill at least 3 members. So to fill a member, the member list dot add new member of what? ID 1 2 3 4 5 6, comma, name Amarveer, comma, what's your username? Amar. It's string. What's your passwords? 1 2 3 4 5 6. Anything else? For the member, we have ID, name, username, and password. That's it. Meet and sigh. Let's fill data here. So filling data is like we are bringing the data from the database. Now what I need to initialize the user pass and login. Initialize components. Yeah, I'll change the ID. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Initialize components. The user equals find view view by ID r.id dot what username, and pass equals find view by ID r.id dot password, and the login equals find view by ID r.id dot login button. The login button must be registered or set as listener. How? Login dot set on click listener. It's gonna be listener where? On this class. The class is not ready yet to have a listener. That's why we get an error. If we click here, cast parameter, no. So let me go up here and write implements on click listener. After implementing on a click listener, we get an error because the class has to override any methods in this interface. So here it guides us to implement methods. It's only one method, onClick. Okay. The onClick method is the method where I have to write the action. The action is what? The action is verifying the username and password. If they are correct, move to the main activity. If invalid, showing a message says invalid. That's it. I need a function, a method. We are now in Android, not in Swift. So the name is method, not function. Doesn't matter. I need a method to do what? To verify the username and password. This method is doing what? I can do this here in the onClick, but it's better to do it on another method. Doesn't matter, you can do it as you like. This method is doing what? This method is searching for the username. If the username exists in the data, then look at the passwords. If the password matches with the username, then yes, the login is okay. Otherwise, the login failed. I can make the function string, y string, because I need the member name. I need the member name, or I need the member ID. I need anything from the member, not just verifying. So string public, sorry, it has to be static, Okay, public string. It doesn't have to be static. Public string verify login. To verify the login, let me pass the username. So pass user name. We need to search. Is this username exists? You know how to search. That's very easy. For what? How to go through the integer I equals 0, I less than. What's the name of the list? Member list dot size I plus plus if username, which we pass here, dot equals the member list dot get I dot get user name. If we find a match, what we will do, we will return. No, if we find a match, we have to check the password for this match or for this username. So if we find a match, let's check if I don't have the password to make sure if it's equals. So let me pass the passwords. Now, after we found a match, let's check if the password equals. So if passwords dot equals member list dot get I dot passwords. Now we can return the member list dot get I dot name, get name. Otherwise, we will return null. So this method will return either a name of the person, of the member, or null. Here, what I need to do, I need to call this verify login. What I need to pass? I need to pass what the user enters. So the user enters the username and password. So the username is user dot get text dot to string and pass dot get text dot to string. Now, if verify is null, what does it mean? If verify dot is empty, yes guys, what do we have to do? Toast. Dot make text get application context, comma, invalid username or password. Toast dot length long and dot show. Else what do we have to do? We need the person name. To pass the person name to the other activity, I need to define it here as public static. So public static string member name equals nothing. And here member name equals verify. That's the first step. The second step is navigate to the main activity. How to navigate to another activity? We need to define something called intent. What is the intent? Intent is a transition. In Android, we can't move from activity to another activity directly. There is a transition state of the activity. The activity has to move from activity into intent, then from intent to another activity. So what is the intent? Intent is a transition state of the activity. Intent intent equals new intent this, comma, main activity dot class. You have here to put the name of the activity which we are moving to. Then start activity intent. That's it. It's easy. All what you need to do is to create intent and let the targeting activity assigned to this intent. After the targeted activity becomes an intent, we can start the activity. So we start the intent. That's it. Now, any questions here? Any questions? Because we have done. Okay, the fill data, actually, if we have a database, the code of this method will be completely different. Because instead of filling the data manually, we are retrieving data from the database. So here, filling the data, it's just we assume we have a table for the members, and this table contains data about members. Every member has ID, name, username, and password. So I just try to fill some of members. 3, we can fill more, 3, 4, 5, 50, whatever, it's up to you. Why I filled them? Because later on I want to match between what the user enters as a password and username, match them with the data that I have. So I need a data. If I don't have data, I can't do this. When we run, the user will see the login design. So the user has to enter a username and password and click the button login. What the system has to do. The system here, when the user clicks on click, which means the user here is clicking the button login. So what is happening? We are calling a method named verify login. This method is returning a value. The value is a string. That's why I started with string variable. To call this method, we need to pass what the user enters as a username and what the user enters as a password. As you see here, username, password. The username is this, user dot. What is user? Let's go up. User is the username in the design. What is pass is the password in the design. So what the user entered in the username text field, we are getting it here. What the user enters for the password text field, we are getting it here. And we pass both of them to this method. Now, this method will receive the username and passwords. So the method here will search for match between the username which it receives and all usernames in the member list. If there is a match, so yes, the username is correct and we found a match. Now, the match here with I, maybe 0, maybe 1, maybe 2, because we have only 3. If we have more, then it could be anything. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, anything. This is the index of the item in the array list. Which item? The item where we find match. So suppose I is 1. If username dot equals member list get I, yes, it is when I is 1. So when I is 1, which means the index 1, does the password matches what the user enters? This password? Does it match the member list dot get I get password? Does it match the password at the same index? Yes, it does. Okay, that's good. So return the person name, the member name. So at the same index, return the name. If not, no problem. Go to the next I. Go to the next I, the next I, the next I. Until the last index of the array list. No match. So return null. Which means this method will return a name of the member or null. It can't return anything else, either the name of the member or null. So here when the user clicks the button, we will get the member name or null. So I have to check, what did I get? Is verify empty, which means null? Yes, it is. Then show a message says invalid username or passwords. It's not null? Okay, get the member name. The member name is verify. Why? Because it's what the method returns. Why I need the member name here? If we go look up the member name, this I made it static. I must make it static. Why? To access a variable from another activity, it has to be public static. I need public static variable. Why? Because I need to access this variable when I go to the other activity. That's why I here let the member name equals verify. And I need to navigate. How to navigate? Create an intent and make the intent equals the targeted activity, not the current, no, the activity where we are navigating to. Then start activity, which is the intent. That's it. These two statements are taking us to this activity, the main. When we go to the main activity, we can access any public static variable here. We have only one public static variable, which is the member name, so we can access the member name when we go to the main activity. In the main activity, we will start with a label at the top says welcome and the member name. Let's go to the activity main. The activity main has hello world, which is the default. I will change the hello word here. I'll give it an ID because it doesn't have an ID. I'll give it an ID, welcome message. This welcome message contains nothing. And its size is 24. And bold, and bold. Let's go to the main activity here. Text view. Welcome member. Welcome member, not while, welcome member. Welcome member equals find view by ID r.id.welcome message. Welcome member dot set text is the login activity dot member name. No, it's welcome back plus welcome back and the name of the person. Before I run there's an important thing I have to do. In the manifest, look at the manifest, we have two activities: activity login and activity main. But the main activity is the launcher. No, I don't want the main activity to be the launcher. I want the login to be a launcher. How can I make the login launcher? I have to take this tag, the intent filter, remove it from here and put it here. That's it. This all what you need to change the startup activity, which we call it the launcher. Now when we run, the application will start with the login activity, not the main. While it's running, let's go to the main activity and create the design. After the member logs to the system, the member can browse all box. To browse this box, let's show the names or the titles of box in a drop down menu. So I need a drop down menu. Let me go to the main activity design here. How to use drop down menu? The drop down menu called spinner. Spinner. Where's the spinner? In the widgets or in the containers? In the containers. Spinner. Drag and drop. Why it's okay. It's big. Let me reduce the size a little bit. Move it a little bit from the edge. Okay. This spinner is the book spinner. Books. Come on. Books spinner. SP. Label. I need a label to say these are the books. Let's do the constraints. Now, We are going to do it step by step. I'll go back to the activity main, to the main activity. Let me declare a spinner. Spinner SP, and here, yes, I need to initialize the spinner. So SP equals find view by ID what book r.id dot book spinner. How to fill the spinner? The spinner will be filled from array list. So I need an array list. Again, guys, I will assume we have database, and in the database we have a table named books, for example. This table contains details about many books. What are these details? Let me just look here. The last time when I change its orientation, I mean, it becomes in a good size. Come on, get back. Yes, now it's in a good size. Let me take you guys here. Wait. Okay, wait. Let's continue. Regarding the data, let's create a Java class. Book. Private string ISBN. Private string title. Private string author. We can add many things. We can add publisher, we can add number of copies, we can add number of pages. Doesn't matter. I need to add the cover page picture. So private, because I want to show you how to use image view. String image name. The image represents the cover page image. Generate everything. Constructor. Getter. Setter. Okay. Why the book is down here? Because where did I click when I create it? Doesn't matter. Let me look here. How long we will keep waiting? Okay. Now enter the username. Anything. Did I delete? I didn't delete. Whatever. Let's enter the passwords. Anything. Remove the soft keyboard. Login. What? Let's see why. Attempt to invoke virtual method boolean is empty on a null object reference. So is empty doesn't mean is null. Where is the login activity? Is empty doesn't work with null, so I'll make it empty. Instead of return null, I return empty string. Let's return to what we were doing in the main activity. I need to fill the spinner. To fill the spinner, I need collection of items. This collection of items we are bringing from from array list. Array list book list. The book here has a problem, yes, because it's down. Yes. Make a class of member? No. Okay. That's the easiest way. New Java class book Now it's correct. Let's go back here. Not here, not here, it's here. So array list, book list equals new array list of book alt enter to import the array list. Guys, I will assume again, I will assume the array list is getting data from the database, but I have to do that manually. Let's try to get some pictures for some books. Java, Java. Where is the Java? Java for beginners book. Java for beginners. Let's download. It's HTML text, forget it. Save images.